Kody Brown joined the Special Forces when his son Garrison died. He has been on Sister Wives for more than 15 years. Viewers have followed his life and even talked to his family members. Of course, people were astonished when he said he was going to be on Fox Network's reality show Special Forces. But what could be the major reason he wanted to be on the show? Is it possible that it has something to do with Garrison? It looks like it. Kody Brown's son Garrison, whom he had with his second wife Janelle, died in 2024. This event changed Kody's life, and he still regrets not trying to get back in touch with his son after they had a fight. Garrison was not talking to Kody before he died, and their connection was not very good. Many people think that Kody joined the Special Forces because of Garrison's death. On August 8, 2025, Kody Brown revealed on Instagram that he will be entering Fox's Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, where candidates go through tough military-style training and trials. He said it was one of the most thrilling things that had ever happened to him and joked that viewers would watch him cry on the broadcast. When Kody said he was entering the Special Forces, fans were shocked. This made people wonder if Sister Wives was going to stop and if Kody was going to look for new ways to make money. Since filming of Special Forces is happening in Morocco and there is not much information about when it will end, fans are starting to wonder if Sister Wives is over. Kody said recently that he is going to join the Special Forces. It is a military-based show that puts participants through hard training sessions that are meant to test their limits. This isn't Kody's thing, but it was wonderful to see him try something new. But what is the major reason he joined a show that is so different? A lot of people assume that his son's death is the major reason. Kody's son Garrison died in 2024, and many think Kody is trying to get back in touch with him. He wants to feel closer to his son by going through what he did while he was in the military. If he uses this as the major reason, then it is truly extremely lovely. But at the same time, supporters aren't sure if he really wants to help because of all the strange things he's done over the years. They can't give him the benefit of the doubt. Kody never took responsibility for what he did, and he might be using his son's death as a pretext to make himself look better. He might act like a sorry father while exploiting this to make himself look better. He had built himself a rather bad reputation over the years, which got worse after Garrison died. Fans think he's using the show to make himself look better. But if this is his redemption storyline and Kody is asking for forgiveness, then that's quite great. But with Kody, everything is a double-edged sword, so no one knows what he really wants. He is a bona fide narcissist, thus most things in his life revolve around him. For the most up-to-date information about Kody Brown and his life, keep checking back here at TV Season and Spoilers. But the frigid winter air blew over Flagstaff, but inside Janelle's house, the tension was even colder. She sat at the kitchen table with a warm cup of coffee in her hands. She hadn't talked to Kody in weeks without getting angry, and every day that went by seemed to make the distance between them bigger. The cameras from Season 19 caught the moment. Janelle looked right into the lens and spoke firmly, but tiredly. "I can't keep pretending," she said. "Kody and Robyn have made their own little world, and the rest of us are just extras in it." Kody seemed mad in his own confession. His hair was messy, and his voice was loud. "Janelle has been distant and hasn't been trying. She is blaming me for everything. Robyn and I are just trying to keep the family together." But in actuality, Janelle thought Kody had given up years ago. After he got married to Robyn, the other spouses progressively faded into the background. There were fewer family meetings, and when there were, Kody always focused on Robyn, her feelings, her comfort, and her thoughts. Janelle had had enough one snowy afternoon. She asked Kody to come over and talk, but Robyn came too. Janelle could feel her blood pressure rise as soon as they walked in. "I thought we agreed this was just between you and me," Janelle stated in a harsh voice. "Well," Robyn said, "I'm in this marriage too." Janelle slapped her cup down on the counter. "No, Robyn. You are a part of your marriage to Kody. This talk is about my marriage to him. You've been in the middle of everything, and to be honest, I can't take it anymore." Kody's face grew red. "Don't talk to my wife like that." Janelle gave him a dirty look. "Oh, so now she's your wife. But what am I? A problem? A load?" The argument lasted more than an hour. Voices got louder, tears poured, and years of anger came out into the open. Janelle said Kody was ignoring his other families, playing favorites, and letting Robyn make all the decisions. Robyn wept and said that she was being unfairly picked on. Kody tried to justify himself, but the more he talked, the more it sounded like he was making excuses. Janelle's voice sounded calm in the end, but maybe too calm. Kody, I've been faithful for years. But I can't stay married to someone who makes me feel like I'm not there. Robyn, I don't dislike you, but I don't like what happened when you came in. I'm done trying to fix this when neither of you will meet me halfway. She left her own living room, leaving Kody and Robyn standing there, speechless. Janelle made it apparent in her last confession of the episode. I don't know what will happen in the future. But I do know one thing. I can't keep pretending everything is perfect next to Kody and Robyn. Because it isn't. And I won't lose myself just to make them feel better. But the Brown family didn't have a quiet time in Flagstaff last season. The wives were already tense, but Kody seemed to want to make things even worse, sometimes without even knowing it. It all started in early spring when Kody told the family he wanted to acquire a huge plot of land on the edge of town and build a mansion big enough for all 4 women and their kids. He stood in the center of the family meeting with his hands extended wide like an architect who could see the future and said, "This will bring us back together." Instead of acclaim, though, he got raised eyebrows, crossed arms, and a few cynical laughs. Christine said, "That'll be the day," and Meri looked at him like he had just suggested migrating to Mars. That same night, Janelle challenged him about money, which was the first big fight. "Kody, you're dreaming too big. We can't even keep up with the bills we have now," she said. But Kody, feeling trapped, got combative and said that Janelle didn't believe in the family vision. The session concluded with Kody storming out into the driveway and mumbling about how no one recognized his leadership. After that, there was the barbecue incident in the summer. The spouses had promised to meet in Janelle's backyard for a family barbecue, but they didn't want to. Kody was late and brought a huge cooler of meat with him. But it was all for him, because he had suddenly chosen to go on an all-meat diet. Robyn cautiously suggested cooking a salad for the kids, but Kody went on for 15 minutes about alpha nutrition while everyone else silently filled their plates with Janelle's potato salad and Christine's handmade bread. The cameras caught the awkward silence, and it quickly became one of the season's most talked-about moments. But the actual explosion erupted in the fall at the family unity meeting. Kody called everyone into the living room and told them he had devised a new set of relationship protocols to make things go more smoothly. These included set times to talk to him, rotating dates that had to be planned 3 weeks in advance, and most controversially, no big family choices without his final permission. Christine laughed out loud. The videographer almost zoomed in when Meri rolled her eyes. Christine left after 2 hours of arguing, stating, "I'm not living like a soldier in your little army, Kody." The family was more split up than ever by the end of the season. Kody stood outside in the chilly Flagstaff sky at the end of the movie, looking at the dark windows of each of his wives' houses. He said in his confession, "I thought I could keep everyone together by being the leader. But maybe I'm just making it worse." This was the most sensitive and tragic moment of all. People in the audience didn't know if the family would get better or if the fissures were too deep. But one thing was for sure, Kody's dramatic moments had made this the best season ever. But Christine sat calmly on the veranda of her cozy home while the warm Utah sun set behind the rolling hills. The weather was nice outside, but inside her heart, a storm was brewing that she had been trying to ignore for a long time. Christine had been living a tangled life with Kody for years, and he was the man she thought would be with her forever. But now she felt the weight of change crushing down on her spirit. Christine and Kody have been having problems for months. What used to be a marriage full of hope, love, and shared dreams had become a complicated web of misunderstandings and distance. Kody seemed to be paying more and more attention to other family members, while Christine became more and more quiet. One night, when the family sat down to eat, the air was thick with unspoken comments. Christine eventually spoke up. "Kody," she replied in a gentle voice that shook but stayed firm. "I don't think we can keep doing this. We reside in the same house, but it feels like we're living separate lives." Kody looked up, and there was shock and pain in his eyes. "Christine, what are you talking about?" She took a big breath. "I'm saying, I think it's time for me to consider about moving. For my own peace of mind. I need to get away from all this stress and turmoil and find myself again." The room got quiet. The other wives looked at each other with worry. The idea of Christine departing wasn't simply about one woman moving away for them. It felt like the end of a fragile balance that everyone had worked hard to keep. Christine's choice became the main source of trouble for the family in the days that followed. Kody felt guilty and sorry for how much he had taken Christine for granted. He thought back to the beginning, when they laughed, made vows, and created fantasies together. But Christine was determined. She packed her luggage with more than just clothes. She packed years of happy and sad memories. As she stood on the porch one last time, she said to herself, "This isn't the end. It's the start of a new chapter." The family got together to say goodbye. People cried, said they were sorry, and opened their hearts. Christine's leaving made everyone face hard facts about love, devotion, and the cost of change. Kody watched her drive away, and he felt a mix of sadness and optimism growing inside him. He knew the path ahead would be hard, but maybe, just maybe, this ending could be the start of something new for Christine, him, and their confusing, imperfect family. But the Brown family experienced a lot of ups and downs in season 17, but nothing was as intense and heartbreaking as the night when everything changed forever. It was late fall in Utah, and the whole family was at the big, comfortable house that Kody had constructed for them. Everyone tried to cover their stress with polite smiles and little banter, but the air was thick with it. Christine had been acting aloof recently, while Robyn and Meri gave each other piercing looks. Kody himself seemed more worn and anxious than normal. The day opened with promises of peace and understanding, but things were not going well behind the scenes. Kody cleared his throat after dinner when the family was all in the living room. He started with, "There's something I need to say," and his voice shook a little. "It's been on my mind for a while." Everyone looked at him, and there was a mix of wonder and fear in the air. Kody went on, "I think it's time for me to be honest about how I feel. This way of life, it's harder than ever. I feel like I'm losing myself and the connection I have with every one of you." Christine's eyes filled with tears. She turned her head away and bit her lip to keep the feelings inside her from getting too strong. Meri nervously gripped her hands, and Robyn's face got rigid. "What are you talking about, Kody?" Meri eventually inquired, her voice shaking. "I don't want to lose any of you," he replied hurriedly, "but I think I need some time alone. Maybe even live in different places for a period. I want to get back to who I am and figure out what's best for everyone." The room got quiet. The weight of what he said hit them like a wave. Christine quickly sprang up, her voice shrill and broken. "So, after all this time, you just want to leave? What about all the things we made? Our family?" Robyn also rose up and moved closer to Kody. "Maybe it's time to stop acting like this can all work out. I've been trying, but I can't stay in the middle of all this mess." Meri's tears flowed freely now. "You said you would give us a family. You said you would be here." Kody looked around, his heart bleeding for how much misery they were in. "I won't give up on any of you. I just need some time to learn how to be the husband and parent you need." When Christine suddenly smacked her hand on the table, the tension grew. "What does that make me if you're leaving? Just another wife you can throw away?" Robyn's voice got chilly. "Christine, don't act like you're the only one who's hurt." They could see that the family was falling apart. There were furious words, slammed doors, and broken hearts at the end of the night. The family had a hard time finding equilibrium in the weeks that followed. The home seemed emptier, the silence seemed louder, and every moment was full of doubt. But at their darkest periods, the Browns also grew to understand that often the first step to achieving peace was to break up, whether they were together or apart. But the Brown family's strange love story had long been known, but no one in the little town of Flagstaff was ready for the huge celebrations that became known as the many weddings of the Sister Wives family. It all began on a cold autumn morning when Kody, with his trademark golden hair and endless enthusiasm, stood in the living room and said, "We're going to have weddings, lots of them. Not just for the sake of ceremony, but to renew our bonds, celebrate our journeys, and make new memories." His wife looked at each other with confusion, not knowing if he was serious or just caught up in one of his big ideas again. Christine was the first to talk, and she did so with a pleasant smile. "You mean like renewing vows?" "That's right," Kody stated. "Every wife gets her own unique day and her fantasy wedding, even if it's very different from the others. And we'll ask everyone in the family to come to each one." Wedding 1. Meri's old-fashioned love story. Meri's dream was full of memories. She picked an ancient Victorian-style estate on the edge of town. There were lace tablecloths on the tables and golden chandeliers lit up the ballroom. Everyone wore something in deep emerald green, which was her favorite color. There was a string quartet playing in the background throughout the calm, lovely wedding. When Kody held Meri's hand and said their vows, it made them think of how things used to be, when their relationship was new and full of promise. Wedding 2. Janelle's picnic in the country. Nothing was better for Janelle than being outside. The meadow where she got married was full of wildflowers, and the reception was in a barn that was lit up with fairy lights. Guests enjoyed homemade pies, roasted veggies, and bread that had just come out of the oven. Kody changed out of his normal jacket and into a silky linen shirt. They danced barefoot on the grass while the kids chased fireflies in the warm summer night. Wedding 3. Christine's fairy tale dream. Christine was always the dreamer of the bunch, therefore her wedding was like a fairy tale. It happened in a forest where the trees were lit up by glittering lanterns that made everything look beautiful. She donned a dress with lovely flower embroidery on it, and Kody met her under an archway of roses while wearing a matching embroidered vest. There were fireworks at the conclusion of the night, and Christine laughed so hard her cheeks hurt. It wasn't just a wedding for her, it was a celebration of her energy finally being seen. Wedding 4. Robyn's modern elegance. The wedding of Robyn was sleek, classy, and wonderfully planned. She picked a rooftop in the city that had a view of the whole skyline. People in black tie drank champagne while a jazz band played softly in the background. The moonlight made her attire sparkle, and Kody, always the showman, gave a speech that made even the teens cry. It was less about the past and more about the future, a new beginning shrouded in the 5th wedding that wasn't expected. The Brown kids decided to surprise their parents with a family wedding, just when everyone thought the parties were over. They turned the backyard into a colorful, busy festival with photo booths, a dessert buffet, and a dance floor that stayed crowded until late at night. This time, Kody stood in the middle with all of his women around him, holding hands as they reaffirmed their vows. They were not distinct couples, but a family brought together by love, trials, and the craziness that only they could understand. The many weddings became a symbol for the Browns by the end of the year. They were a reminder that relationships, like individuals, fluctuate and grow, and sometimes need to be honored more than once. Christine would later add in an interview, "We didn't just marry each other again after the silence. We wedded the idea that love, no matter how messy, was still worth showing up for." Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sabrina, and I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you appreciate the video.